This is No BS Job Search Advice Radio, episode 1069. I'm your host, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome. Today's show is a follow-up to yesterday's, where I answered someone's question about why companies won't hire someone who's been out of work for a while. And today's show answers a follow-up question that someone asked me, so what do you do about it? Hope you find this helpful. Please give the show 5 stars on iTunes or Stitcher. It helps other people find it. And if we are connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request to me at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. Hope you have a spectacular week. And now let's get going. But someone responded with a great question. And the question was, okay, fine. So what do I do? And it was a great question to ask, and I want to address that in this video. And I want to say the answer is going to be different, a little bit different, based upon whether you're inexperienced or relatively junior in your professional circles or more experienced, whether you're white collar or no collar. I'm not sure there's much in the way of blue collar these days. Actually, let me address blue collar in the course of this video. If you're less experienced, you basically have to go out there and talk to people in different sectors. You have to get in touch with temp agencies, understand what the skills are that are being sought, and if necessary, go back to school in order to learn those skills. If you're more experienced, if you're white collar, you may have to get on a plane and go somewhere to do the kind of work that you do. And I know that's not ideal, but if necessary, you do it. Temp agencies / consulting firms are an option for you if your skills are marketable in other parts of the country. So even if you've been out of work for a while, there's a way that your resume can address the fact that you have the gap, and you can, if you've done this legitimately, put the word consultant in there. Even though it's not a full-time job, you can indicate you've done consulting and talk about the kind of work that you've done as a consultant. But in terms of marketing yourself for the next position, the basic call to action is temp firms, getting on a plane, starting your own business, which I think is probably the least likely option, because frankly, if you had the capital to start your own business, you would have done it already. You may not think that way, but certainly now, if you've been out of work for a while, I suspect you've run through savings pretty quickly. But I would say get to a temp agency in your area that places people in the kind of jobs that you do. Talk with them about not just simply what jobs they have open now, but what they look for in a background for their clients. Get a human being really to talk with who has some experience, who can adopt you. And then from there, be flexible to what they want you to do. Don't just simply say, and I'll use a New York example, I'll only work in Midtown Manhattan. Or I'll only drive 15 minutes from my home. Thanks. You're not going to find work. You're setting down barriers that will make it much more difficult for you. You need to start developing flexibility. Now, here's the other part. And this is the part, again, job hunters don't want to hear, but it's necessary to say. The probability is, from your previous work, you weren't as good as you think you were. So you need to get better at that, which may require that you start taking classes or practice, which may mean volunteering at an organization to re-energize your skills and get better at them. Another thing that you don't want to hear is that you probably don't interview particularly well, and you need to get better at that part. Now, I'll quickly say JobSearchCoachingHQ.com has great content that'll help you with interviewing, and if you have questions, you can ask me questions. Commercial aside, but fundamentally, you need to get better at your skills. You need to get better at interviewing, because those are completely different skill sets. The skills needed to find a job are different than those needed to do a job. So you need to get stronger at those, and that requires practice and effort, and not just simply watching Netflix or being on your phone all day. You need to treat finding a job, well, like a sports team does, preparing for Sunday if they're a football team, or preparing for a tennis match, or whatever the athletic endeavor is. The players don't just simply run around pointlessly. They practice plays. Well, you have to practice the plays of interviewing. You need to practice the plays of job hunting in order to get results. And athletes make millions of dollars doing this, and you're expecting to get the same results, putting in no effort. So your effort has to get higher in everything that you're doing, both in terms of your craft, your work, and that's white collar, blue collar, no collar, whatever form it is. You're going to have to get stronger there. And if that means giving away your talent for a while in order to practice your skills, you do that. You practice interviewing so that you get better at that. Have people ask you questions, give you feedback on how it sounds. And my dilemma about that is most of the people that you might ask for advice about that aren't the best to really, give you that advice. But if you can't afford a coach, then you work with what you got. Maybe the local unemployment office will have someone there who will take mercy upon you and give you that kind of support. But you need to practice interviewing. You need to practice your craft. You need to understand how what you do fits into your market area, and you need to become more flexible. This is effort. And I know in our modern times, people don't want to expend effort. But you've been sitting home for a while. I'm not going to judge how long it is, and you've been unsuccessful doing what you're doing. You got to learn to do it differently and get feedback on how you're performing in order to be more effective.
McDonald's new $1, $2, $3 menu has breakfast, which means you can get the sausage burrito for $1, a sausage McGriddles for $2, and the sausage McMuffin with egg for $3. Or, as Jill likes to call it, the
I burnt the toast, set off the smoke detector, and filled the apartment with smoke meal.
More like the I can't believe you did that again meal.
Build whatever breakfast you want with McDonald's new $1, $2, $3 menu. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.